Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bed Tech Show. We're excited to bring this show to you. We're your hosts, Ben and Ethan, sharing some wonderful tech news here at bedtime. We've got some pretty good articles lined up. So, with that, we'll go ahead and get started.
Let's
Looks
go.
like Apple is going to be spying on its workforce here to mandate the return to office, according to this report. So looks like Apple is going to monitor employee attendance and make sure they are complying with company requirements that they report in the office at least 3 days a week. And employees who fail to return at their desk 3 days a week could be fined, though it's unclear if the company has adopted this policy. And Apple's monitoring of employees' badge informations appears to contradict the firm's claim to be conscious of protecting users' privacy and data. Now, this is pretty interesting. There's always reports and in their marketing that they're really high on protecting people's privacy, but it seems like their internal practices with their employees show a different side and really looking into making sure that they are complying with this policy.
Hmm.
What do you think the potential ethical implications are on this move by Apple?
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of knee-jerk reactions from employees, and they're gonna respond really negatively to this because they don't want to go back in the office. Personally, I don't think this is unethical. My understanding is they're just monitoring their badges, right, to see that they're going into the office 3 days a week. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So personally, I don't think that's unethical. I think that's totally fine for a company to have a policy that says, "Hey, we need you in office, and we're just going to make sure that you're doing and following this policy." Um, but again, I think a lot of people they love the ability to have the freedom to do whatever they want, even though they're being paid by a company and employed by a company. So I think it'll be a breaking point for a lot of employees. And I say this I say that there'll be a knee jerk reaction and it'll be a breaking point for certain employees because I was a part of a company that was acquired, and the new parent company said, "Hey, we're going to monitor your keystrokes and take screenshots every 10 minutes."
Oh,
And
wow.
so many people were just like up in arms, and they're like, "There's no way I'm dealing with that. Like, I'm not going to have someone like Big Brother me, watch my every whatever." And so many people left, like bounced, just and a lot of people were really rude about how they went about, and they burned a lot of bridges. Um, and yeah, it became a breaking point. Now that's a lot more dramatic than just making sure you're in the office 3 days a
Yeah.
week. Um, you know, getting all of my keystrokes and clicks monitored and my screen screenshot every 10 minutes. That's really monitoring.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so again, like I think people who love the flexibility to be free and however they work and whenever they work, they're not going to like this. And so there might be some people that either quit or have pushback, but I don't think this is going to be, um, uh, I don't think this is unethical, nor do I think it's going to have a significant downfall in the employment at Apple. I think this is honestly, I think it's a regular policy that any company could implement, and I think everyone else would bat an eye, but because it's Apple, um,
It's in the
you know,
news.
yeah, exactly. It's in the news. Yeah. Sorry, I meant to say people wouldn't bat an eye, right?
Right.
People just wouldn't care. So that's my thought. Do you think that they're being hypocritical here with how they how themselves as being privacy owners and then they're doing this? What are your thoughts?
I kind of think it's a little hypocritical. I do agree with you. It is well within their right as an employer to mandate this policy and
Mm-hmm.
have ways of monitoring it.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just interesting that the way that they market all of their devices as giving the power to the people for their privacy, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And here it seems it's a bit of a 180 with how they how they're allegedly treating their employees and saying, "Hey, because we have this policy, we're gonna monitor you to make sure that you're complying with it."
Yeah.
So it to me it's a little bit suspect on that part. While I do think it's well within their right and they could have done that, it just kind of goes against what they've done on the consumer side with their products. To
Yeah,
me,
I can.
that makes
Yeah.
it a little bit um, makes it a little bit off-putting to me, as opposed to if it was just them coming out with this policy and doing it.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's kind of like two-faced, right?
Mhm.
You know, PR side of things. We respect your privacy. We love you guys. We're not going to sell your data. We're not going to collect your data. We're not going to hand over your phone and unlock it for the FBI.
Yeah.
Employees, though, we're going to watch you because we're losing money when we pay you. So, but our loyalists, we respect you and we want
Yes.
you to keep buying our products. So we'll respect your privacy because you give us money. But employees, you take our money. So we're watching you. I can understand that. That is kind of two faced. Um,
They've got to get people in their huge building that they just spent a massive amount of money building.
yeah,
So
for real. But to be honest, like I don't know. I would. I mean, I don't. I'd have a hard time arguing that my office behind me is better than the facilities here.
yeah.
Like if you look at their facilities, it's pretty sick. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I've there's been some like virtual tours through it and it looks amazing. Like
yeah.
it would almost be worth getting a job at Apple just to be able to go there, but then I'd have to go into the office and I like my home office so much more.
It is nice, like waking up and then just not having to get ready to commute, and
Oh yeah. It's so
it's
nice.
it is very nice.
Like you could just roll out of bed and be working.
Yeah. I got a phone call at 8. All right. Set alarm 7:50.
Yep.
Brush my teeth, wash my face, gargle some water. What's up, dude?
Yep.
What's going on?
Exactly. So, yeah, it's a little interesting here. And, Apple's not the only one that's done this. Twitter's kind of done the same thing. Elon Musk also sent a tweet that employees needed to be in the office, and that was not optional. He stated that San Francisco was half empty the other day in his recent tweet. So, um, seems like that's kind of the way of these companies. They're really wanting to get people back into the office. And I guess it's well within their right to do that as employers.
Yeah. And I was actually listening to a podcast earlier. Do you know who David Goggins is? Navy SEAL.
I've heard the name, but I haven't.
He's he's like he's an ex Navy SEAL, firefighter in Canada, like airdrop into fires to firefight him. He's also an ultra runner, so he does like 100-mile races and 240-mile races.
Oh,
And anyway, he's all about like mentality and mental toughness. And he talks about how he was like this kid that was like a piece of trash kid and like grew up in a piece of trash family and stuff like this, and how he became mentally tough. And the host, I can't remember his last name, his name's Chris, but they're talking about there's people in the world who have been this mentality where they don't want to be like mid-level or bottom level. They want to be top 1%. They're driven to be the best of the best. They want to be a part of something where they're top dogs. And they bring up Elon as one of those people where Elon's just like, hey, we're going to work and we're going to do hard things because we are people that can do the hard things. Like no one else is going to do it. We are the ones that are going to do it. And they talk about like they talk about in the podcast how Elon implemented at Twitter coming back into the office and how it was like a weeding out to identify who are the people that truly are driven to be the best of the best. And it's not just going to be like another cool social hip tech company, right?
mhm.
Elon wants it to be the best of the best, the top tier level, hardest working, just 1% of driven people.
Right.
And that's kind of what they were saying is going back to the office, it kind of helped them weed out who was willing, who wasn't willing. And, obviously there's a balance there because you don't want to overwork people.
Mhm.
Right. And I think that's where there needs to be some reality check of like, there are workaholics. Right. And I do think Elon is a workaholic. Um, anyway, I thought it was a really interesting take on this situation. If you want to be a market leader, industry leader, you want to be the best. You can't be like 50-50 or nonchalant. You
Yeah, you've
have
got to
to
be
have,
all in.
yeah, exactly. And you got to be driven and you're going to want to be able to do it. And so for people in my mind, if my employer was like, "Hey, you're part of one of the biggest, or if not the biggest tech company in the world, and we're just asking you to come to the office 3 days a week. And if you're not willing to do that, I don't know if you're the right person to be working at the best company in the world or
Right.
the best tech company in the world or top 10 companies in the world. You know what I mean? Top 10 companies should have top 10 talent, you know?
Right.
That's my thought.
Yeah. To me, it doesn't seem unreasonable. Um, especially I guess depending on the expectation that companies have put in the past. Unless they like advertise this is a fully remote job, and then
They
2 weeks
switch it up.
later, yeah, they switch it up and say, and force people to come back. To me, that seems a little bit unreasonable.
Yeah.
But I agree with that mentality. Like, it's an interesting take. If you want to do exceptional things, you've got to go all in, be
Yeah.
exceptional.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So
Yeah. And I don't think work and like working for a corporation, it it's not for everyone. Like that's not everyone's I'm all in on this, you know.
yeah,
For a lot of people it's just I'm doing that just to pay the bills and I've got other stuff that I'm all in on that I'm doing, you
yeah,
know. And so everyone has their thing, right? So but anyway, yeah, I think you make a valid point how this is kind of two-faced of Apple though. I can see
yeah.
that.
So interesting to see. A lot of the companies there in the California region are moving towards this. Well, speaking of California companies and cool tech that they've done, looks like there has been a coordination of 100 Teslas that were coordinated to a light show tribute to an Oscar winning song, Natu Natu. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with it, like I was previously, Natu Natu is a song from an Indian action movie. It is an Oscar winning show. And in New Jersey, there was a spectacle of 100 Teslas performing a synchronized light show to the song Natu Natu, Natu Natu. So on Twitter, there was a video of this. And unfortunately, we won't be able to play the song during this for copyright reasons. However, we can show the video of it. And it's pretty cool that there were so many Teslas coordinated to the song. And the video has racked up 8.8 million views. One of the cool things about the song is that it was the first song from an Indian film to win an Oscar for Best Original Song. So, pretty cool here of the coordination and how all these cars were in the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how they park their cars too to be the letters of the movie. I thought that was really cool. And then, we see this a lot with drones, like the synchronization, but I never thought this could be done with Teslas. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, this was kind of a novel thought to me too. I mean, I've seen the Tesla light show. I've done a couple of things with my Tesla in the light show of synchronizing some different songs than the stock song that is on there. But this is cool seeing multiple being synchronized to this one song. all at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. So how do they synchronize? Is it just through the internal like Tesla app? Do they connect via, I don't know. This is ignorant of me to say, like Bluetooth or what? Like how do you
That is
connect
a
with the
great
other
question
vehicles?
that I'm not sure. I mean, I know with a single Tesla, the way that you get the light show on is you can connect a storage device to the car. You can have a song in there and you can coordinate the lights to that song with it. And so there's a little back end stuff that you can do with on your computer before you put it into your car, but it will coordinate how the lights run, how the windows operate, also how the mirrors operate. And if you have a Model X, it can move the Falcon Wing doors as well, open up all the doors in
Wow.
coordination with the light show. So it's some pretty interesting tech, but as far as getting multiple cars to coordinate together, I have no idea how that how that would go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm
I'm
trying to figure out is like how did they do that?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
to me, the only way that I would know how to do it is that each car would have had to press play at the same time, and then they would have all had a slight variation of that file to because they didn't all have the same lights going on at the same time.
yeah,
So,
that's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking is they can't just all press play at the same time because they have different lights going on at different times. So
yeah,
so
yeah,
different files is what you're saying.
yeah. It would have to. Yeah, I'm not sure how it was done. So if anybody knows, sound off in the comments and
Yeah,
just how that is
let us
done.
know. Let us know how
'Cause-
they did it. But obviously some pretty unique engineering and programming there, probably.
Yeah,
It's pretty
and
cool.
yeah, it's pretty nice that, something as functional as a vehicle can have some of these cool Easter eggs to bring that for our enjoyment.
That's one thing I love about Tesla that you haven't really seen with any other vehicle is those Easter eggs.
Mhm.
Like I know they have like the Rainbow Road or whatever when you
Yeah.
if you do something with the steering wheel or the blinker. Isn't that
hmm
right?
Yeah, they've got Rainbow Road. There's also you can change the icon of the call, I guess the call button on the interface.
Uh-huh.
Rather than saying call, it will say ahoy hoy and be one of those old phones. Because that was the original way that when people answered the phone when they were first invented was ahoy hoy. So
No way. That's really funny. Oh hoy hoy. And then
yeah.
there's like the fart noise, right? Isn't
Yeah,
there like
the
a
emissions
fart?
testing. So as they call
That's
it.
so funny. And then can you change? I could have sworn I saw a video of a guy changing his horn
Yep, you
noise.
can change your horn. So
That's so
on
crazy.
on mine I've got the Dukes of Hazard song or the Dukes of Hazard horn on mine as an option. So that's kind of funny to
That's
have that.
awesome. That's so epic. Dude, that's so epic. I'm trying to think of what I would want to have as my Tesla horn. There's so many options, I feel like.
Yes.
I don't know if I want like someone yelling or if I want like say something. I don't know.
I've
That's
always thought
crazy.
of having it and then someone just says, "Oh yeah."
Oh. Someone's walking across. They're walking across the crosswalk. You just honk. Oh yeah. That's so funny, dude. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. So and all the
That's
Easter
good.
eggs, it's pretty cool. It makes owning a Tesla a little bit more enjoyable than just any other car with all
Yeah, I
that
haven't heard
fun.
that with any other vehicle, especially any of the other EVs. I mean, maybe it's just because maybe they do have them, but they're not Tesla, so people just don't really care about it. But I don't know. I just haven't heard of anything like that with the other EVs.
Yeah, I haven't either. I mean, to me, I would think that Rivian would probably be the next closest, but I haven't heard of any of the Easter eggs with Rivian, if
Can't you
there are
watch
any.
Netflix on your Tesla as well?
Yeah, you can.
I don't
Um,
think you can do that with other EVs.
yeah, I don't think that's an option. I know now with like the new Model S and Model X, you can play Steam games on your Tesla.
Oh my
So like you
gosh.
can play Cyberpunk, full version of Cyberpunk right in your car.
That's insane. Why am I
So
not having? Why do I not have a Tesla right now?
yeah,
I
you
need
need
to
to
just
get
get a
one, man.
Tesla.
It's probably because you're smart with your money and you don't spend on frivolous things like a
No,
$120,000 Tesla.
dude, that's not it. That's definitely not it. I can tell you right now, I am not smart with my money.
Uh,
But
well,
that's cool.
speaking of things that may have been smart or may not have been smart, it looks like Tesla engineers have tried to convince Elon not to give up radar for self driving. Looks like there was a new report that Tesla engineers tried to convince Elon not to give up on radar for its autopilot and self driving effort. Um, and Tesla has a weird history with their radar sensors for its autopilot and full self driving. It decided to remove the front facing radar and more recently the ultrasonic sensors from the sensor suite, and now just utilizes Tesla Vision as an approach to have autopilot and full self driving be capable through its cameras and no sensors, just the logic of the cameras. And to me, this is pretty interesting and
Hmm.
in my mind, a kind of a controversial um, decision on
Yeah.
Teslas. What do you think this means? How do you think this affects the future of autonomous vehicles?
Hmm. How does this affect the future of autonomous vehicles? Hmm. Good question. Personally, I kind of feel like it leaves the door open for someone else to come in and take over this opportunity for like for the next sensory technology for vehicles for self-driving. Because Tesla has always been the front runner for EVs, especially for self-driving. They were the first ones to really have a car that could potentially be self-driving. And
Yeah.
besides, the vehicles in Arizona that have a million cameras on the outside that look ridiculous,
Oh,
like
Waymo,
I think,
looking at you.
yeah, yeah. I don't think there's other vehicles that are as far as Tesla where it's built in, right?
Right.
I kind of feel like this is Elon's smart. I know he's not dumb, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I kind of side with the engineers in this. I kind of feel like it's a step back. I'm shocked they could not come up with a solution that combines the radar and the cameras,
Right.
because I think there's flaws with both,
Hmm.
and I'm surprised that they didn't push to combine both to be one synchronized system. And as a result, I think it leaves the door open for another EV producer to come in and say, we now have the top dog technology for sensory monitoring and autonomous driving. That's my personal opinion. It allows the opportunity for another manufacturer to take some dominance here in the industry. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
I agree with you on that. I think it is a step back and um in my opinion, kind of a missed opportunity to be able to use both technologies at the same time. Um, I know when this first came out, when Tesla rolled the update to remove the um, use of the radar sensors from vehicles, it limited the speed that you could go on autopilot because it didn't have those sensors as a safety mechanism. You
Wow.
weren't able to go over 80 miles per hour at all
Oh, wow.
with that because it was just solely relying on the cameras. Um, as well, the newer vehicles now that do not have these radars built into them at all, the level of functionality, um, some level of functionality is removed from the vehicles. For instance, um, in my vehicle, because I do have those radars in there, as I'm creeping up to an object, it gives me the exact distance from my vehicle to whatever that object is in front of me or behind
That's
me,
cool.
which is
That's
really nice.
awesome.
Like if you're
Yeah.
backing into your garage, you can know exactly how far you are from your back
Yes.
wall.
I would love that.
Yeah, super functional. However, with Tesla Vision, that functionality of distance is not able to be measured. I mean,
Wow.
you can see from the cameras, but it's just not there.
Yeah, but that's every backup camera, right? You can
Yeah,
just see.
you can see
But
what's
to know
there.
that, and sometimes the cameras are skewed, like either the like fisheye lens, and so
Hmm.
it's really hard to gauge based on the different types of lenses of the cameras. How far is
Right.
that? Like, is that right up to the camera, or is that like 2 feet? Or
Yeah.
man, that's actually really surprising. I'm really surprised by that. It's awesome that you have it still.
Yeah. I'm glad that they haven't like completely shut off all functionality for legacy vehicles that
Yeah.
have that. Because that would make me really annoyed to know that I bought a vehicle, it has that functionality before, and just because of an update, they took it away.
Yeah.
Kind of looking at you, Apple, because of what they've done with iPhones with the haptic engine. That's another story. So yeah, it's nice to know that I still have the ability to use my radar sensors and utilize some of the features like smart summon and being able to know the exact distance from objects to my vehicle. But I and I know Tesla kind of did this as a way of mitigating costs and having some cost savings with their vehicles. However, it just seems like a bit of a step back and
Mhm.
not a wise use to utilize all the technology available to make it even better.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Really surprised by this actually. Kind of unfortunate. Um, I'd be interested to see if they bring it back in the future. I wonder if they'll realize, hey, actually, maybe we do need the radar in conjunction with the cameras. Um, yeah, it's surprising. It really is. It's surprising.
Yeah, because I know like a lot of the other companies that are really like their main focus is autonomous driving, like Waymo. Um, they use radars, they use a lot of cameras, and they use lidar as well um, as a part of their system. So it seems like they're using a lot of different technologies to make it work.
Yeah.
So interesting things. Um, as well as something that may be interesting. Looks like the SEC is going to be charging celebrities over their cryptocurrency endorsements. You want to break this one down for us?
Yeah. So there's a few celebrities that are related to a company called BitTorrent. Well, it's actually three companies. Chinese cryptocurrency entrepreneur Justin Sun. He has three companies: Tron Foundation, BitTorrent Foundation, and then Rainberry Inc., which was formerly BitTorrent, as it has in this article. But essentially, there was unregistered offer and sale of crypto assets, securities, TRX and BTT. And a lot of celebrities were paid to promote these cryptocurrencies. And they were essentially, the SEC is going after them for saying, hey, you're fraudulently manipulating the market um, through what they call wash trading, which is like simultaneous or pretty close to near simultaneous purchase and sale of a security to make it seem like they're actively traded, but there's actually like not an actual change in beneficial ownership. They're essentially just making it look like there's a lot of trades there, and then they're promoting it, but they didn't disclose that they're being paid to disclose this, and then also to make it look like there's some trading going on. So essentially, it's just market. They're manipulating the market, misleading the market, and so the SEC is going after them and Justin Sun because they just the SEC says you didn't disclose enough for investors to make um, a educated decision. It's not well educated enough. You have to disclose and you have to show what the true trading capacity is and demand is for these currencies. the celebrities involved, I know most of you want to know. So I would not really call these A-list celebrities by any means, but
Oh,
definitely
Soldier
some
Boy's
reputable.
not?
I mean, maybe back in like 2001. Um, so Lindsay Lohan, Jake Paul, Soldier Boy, Austin Mahone, who's a singer. I actually don't know Austin Mahone. Michelle Mason, or AKA Kendra Lust. That's a American Adult star, porn star. Uh, and Lil Yachty, Neo, Akon. Um, so kind of like uh, former former upper echelon celebrities that
So what you're
have
saying
now,
has-beens, right?
yeah, has-beens. I mean, if you want to call them has-beens, yeah, 100% has-beens, 100%. I mean, like, as soon as you see Lindsay Lohan on the list,
Lohan.
you're like, Lindsay
Ah,
Lohan?
yeah.
All right. No hate to Lindsay Lohan, but
Speaking of missed opportunities.
so yeah, anyway, I thought it was really interesting. I think this starts to set a precedence actually for celebrities and their influence in touting some cryptocurrencies, because cryptocurrency is obviously, we all know, very volatile and very risky. And so I think it's litigious for celebrities to be involved in the promotion um, of cryptocurrencies, or it will be more litigious. And I think a lot of celebrities were worried about FTX when the whole showdown went down. A lot of celebrities were worried. I know like Tom Brady, he like endorsed FTX and all that stuff, and they were really worried that they were going to get screwed over, and investors were going to go after them because they were involved in like the promotion and the advertising of FTX, and that obviously went down and went under. So I would not be surprised if this sets a precedence and we see more of this. And I actually think this is good. I think there needs to be I think there needs to be some additional regulation. I know crypto is the whole point of crypto is to be deregulated, right?
Mhm.
But I do think there needs to be some regulation around disclosures of who's advertising it and why are they advertising it, things like that. Because I come from an audit background, and making sure companies that are being traded on the stock exchange are following certain regulations so that the investors have the right information to make purchases and they're not being misled. And I think that needs to happen with cryptocurrency, but maybe I'm just traditional. What are your
No,
thoughts here?
I would
Do you
agree with
think this is
that.
fair, or
Yeah, I think this is fair. I mean, I definitely think there needs to be a lot of transparency when it comes to um dealing things that affect the public.
yeah,
Because with cryptocurrency, this allows anybody the opportunity to invest, and in order for them to make in order for them to have the opportunity to make informed decisions, there needs to be transparency. There needs to be information out there for them to research to make those, or I would say have the potential to make those educated decisions. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, there are going to be people that blatantly ignore that and go on their emotions when it comes to investing. However, there should always be the opportunity to have those, to be able to research and make informed decisions. And I think with this starting and with the SEC getting involved, it is bringing that opportunity for there to be transparency, and um, kind of putting essentially the statement out there that there needs to be a little bit more regulation so that there is transparency. So yeah,
yeah,
I agree with you on that.
yeah. And like, there's already been a lot of rug pulls, right? A lot of hype around crypto that people promote and they push, and so they get a lot of hype and everyone invests, and then the founder or the owner of the crypto just like pulls out all the cash and then just disappears.
Mhm.
and people lose out on their money. And it's because it's not regulated, right? There's no regulation around it, and it's hard to regulate it. Um, and that's what's scary about it. You know, Phase Clan back in 2001, or not 2001, 2020. I'm still thinking of Soldier Boy. Back in 2021, Phase Clan, the gaming, I don't know if you want to call them team or company. They're now technically a publicly traded company, but they had some members that had a crypto scam, and like three of the members got suspended, and one was kicked out of the foundation. And Logan Paul also, he had some issues with some of his um crypto stuff. Like what did he had like I want to say it was like a metaverse, but it was really just like a game or a lobby where you could mine crypto in his
Mhm.
game. And there was a lot of issues with that, and he came under some heavy scrutiny. I don't know if he was actually, punished for it or anything like that, but there's a lot of negative PR. So because we're in this early beginning baby stages of crypto, it's just so sketchy. And so there definitely needs to be some regulation for the layman to try and research everything and stay on top of it and do their due diligence with the limited regulation there is. It's almost impossible to really know what's a lie and what's not a lie.
Yeah. And it makes it impossible to make any informed decisions
Yeah.
unless you have a professional that's helping with that and has their, I mean, their whole profession just studying this type of stuff.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And most people aren't experts in this. I'm
yeah,
not.
yeah, I'm not either, and it's hard to find even a lot of professionals that are experts in this too, since it's such a new tech, a new a new thing that's come in in our industry and in our society.
Yeah.
So, I think by the SEC getting involved in this, it's going to bring a lot more transparency and a lot more accountability to the cryptocurrency industry, and I think that's definitely something that we need, and allow people to make more informed decisions. Uh, I think it'll be better all around.
Yeah. I agree. 100%.
All right. Well, that's what we've got for you this evening. We really appreciate everyone's support and uh, everyone's willingness to listen to our show. So if you like this, hit that thumbs up button. Um, Make sure that really helps out our show. If you disliked it, that other button seems to work okay. Send it to somebody that you dislike. As always, ring that dingling button so you are always notified for new content as it's dropped on the channel. So until next time, have a wonderful evening and stay classy.
Peace.